Australia is very well situated as a host area for teleports because of the geography, and the geology is stable, the weather pattern is great, and we have vast open spaces that have very low noise. And the advantage of all of that is that you can have multiple teleports and you can put them a long way away from each other, have them in a safe environment, but have them cooperating. So to do that, replicate that in other places, you quite often have to be in multiple countries, and some good weather areas, some bad weather areas. The security situation, the fact that we have a friendly status with most of the allied countries that are engaged in military activities in the Middle East, and we share a border with the US, which is not often recognised, but we have a fibre that goes from Sydney to Honolulu, doesn't cross any other territory, puts us in a great position. The things that you need to take into account when you're building a teleport, especially the adverse weather conditions, and so places that have very heavy rainfall or snow, very extremes of weather, they're always problematic. Even though teleports operate on very large antennas and don't get too drastically impacted by rain fade or weather impacts, you're still better off if you don't have those interference levels. And so it's a good thing to have stable weather and low rainfall and clear skies, and we have that in Australia. The proximity to Indian Ocean and the Middle East and the Indian subcontinent just makes it an ideal place. One of the main advantages in having teleports that are very large distances away is that you can have redundant controls on a satellite. The satellites need to be moved around from time to time, so and readjusted in their orbital position, and to control those properly you need multiple teleports that are large distances away from one another, so a couple of thousand kilometres is ideal. And also, if you look at Australia's positioning relative to India, Middle East, Horn of Africa and South Africa, we're very well positioned to get very good look angles to a whole range of satellites. If you look at the angles to the orbital positions that serve those markets, Adelaide to those 90 positions to Africa is about halfway. So the ideal look angles are 40 degrees and higher. When you're setting up teleports, you also want to put them in places where there's not a lot of extraneous noise. And even though most Australian teleports are on the periphery of urban areas, they're not in areas where there's a lot of interference from other radio or radio frequency devices. Most of the urban and mobile phone and other types of interference are in different frequency bands and well separated, and typically if you're away from the major capital cities along the eastern seaboard, you have very low noise floor, so you get very clear signals. One of the other things about Australia that's good is that we have good fibre connections to the rest of the world, and we've recently added to the Southern Cross cable that crosses the Pacific. So now there's another large fibre that comes in via Guam, and Australia's recently announced they're putting another fibre out through Singapore. So we do have a lot of possibilities to have redundant links and not lose our terrestrial network connections. So Australia's very well served for infrastructure, the infrastructure that you need to connect to the rest of the world once you landed the signal.